Magic button. Welcome everybody. We are on record. It's lovely to have you all here on this Monday night. My name is Bea Taylor. I'm a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company, and I've been there for over 8 years now, into my 9th year of this journey, and absolutely loving it. Feel like I'm just getting started. And it's such a privilege to be here with you all this evening. So thank you for all taking the time out of your Monday night to jump on and hear from one of our amazing team members, Vicki Lord. Now, Vicki has come into our business about 3 years ago now with husband Joel, and it's just been amazing to see, well, to get to know them for a start. They made the right decision. They moved to the Gold Coast so I could hang out with them, a bit closer to home for me, which was great, and had that opportunity to get to know them and their family and their new addition, which is their puppy, a little bit better. So it's such a great honour to have you on, Vicki, tonight, not just as a participant, but as our speaker. So for those of you who don't know Vicki, clearly you've been living under a rock, but Vicki is super wife to Joel. 18 years these guys have been married, so that in itself is something to be recognised and celebrated. Not too many marriages go the distance, so well done there. And on the way, had 3 beautiful sons, and Vicki is patient. Thanks Joel for that. You'd have to be. She lives in a house with 4 men. At least she got the female puppy. That's all I'm saying. I still didn't even get that far. I still got the male. So it's great to have you on here, Vicki. And you started your entrepreneurial journey a while ago doing the baby blanket selling. I'm not sure. Did you make them as well? Did you make them and sell them, Vic, or you just sold them?
Yeah. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. The baby blankets I started when I was pregnant with my second son. So he's now 10 years old. So my entrepreneurial journey started 10 years ago. And what happened back then is that a really dear friend of mine made this beautiful baby blanket with my son's name on it and gave it to me. And it meant so much to me that when I received it, I just wanted to make that for all the other mums out there. I just saw such, I just saw the gift in baby blankets.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that started the journey. That started see the need in the market and want everybody to have one as well. I love it. And, you know, you've come into the Juice Plus world as well, and obviously seeing a need there to help people. So your mission is to help women learn, earn and feel fabulous. So I'm really excited to hear you speak tonight to that. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute and I'm going to hand it over to you to tell us a little bit more about yourself and a little bit more of your journey beyond the baby blanket. And we're going to have a bit of a chat during our call tonight. So tell us more about that spark, that entrepreneurial spark that got set, and then what happened after that.
Yeah, cool. So I've been married for 18 years now, and when I met Joel back in 2001, he was the most masculine, outgoing guy in the pub. I was in a pub. And I just looked at him and I was like, I loved his, I suppose, his audacity. He wasn't letting anyone push him over. So I was like, cool, I like that about him. So when I married him, I was a simple worker. So I worked.
No, hang on. You can't just go, and then I married him. What happened in between? How did you get to go and talk to Joel? Come on, what happened? We want to know what happened in the pub.
How did I talk to Joel? Okay. So Joel was, we lived in a little town called Glen Innes. I went on a working holiday up there to a roadhouse to cook steaks. So I was tossing steaks and making like hamburgers and stuff like that in the roadhouse. And that was my big getaway. I left home, and that was like me moving to New York. It was a big deal. I just got on a train with a one-way ticket and went to the country. And I did it to find myself. I actually thought I would go further than Glen Innes. I thought I'd end up in the Northern Territory or something, but I did it. So when I met, so I was working on a working holiday, and then Joel went over to Glen Innes as well. So he ended up working in the pub. So I was at the Roadhouse, a block away, and he was at the pub. And so we're two, I was a Sydney girl and all over the place, and he was close to Sydney, like an hour away. So we both met on this working holiday. And then I thought I would just flirt with Joel. I thought I'd just be, I'd just walk past with the dog and flirt and go hi. And then we ended up cruising together in the car. And we sat at a lookout overlooking Glen Innes today. And I just had this overwhelming feeling come over me. And I just looked at him and I was like, oh my gosh, you're the one. And I knew it right then and there. It was a lightning bolt through my body. And I didn't know how we were going to make it work. I just knew he was the one. So I didn't tell him that. I just knew.
I was going to say, is that something you said to him at the time? You go, oh my gosh.
I didn't say we're going to get married. I didn't say any of that. I just said I just knew that he was the one. So then I was relaxed about life because I didn't actually think I was going to meet anyone because I was so extremely fussy. So that's how we met. That's how we started cruising together. And then it was about 3 weeks after that, he said to me, do you want to move to Nowra or to Sydney, back to Sydney? And I said, yeah, sure. So we met in March 2001, married in September 2001, and I was pregnant with my first child in 2001. So it all just happened like that. And Joel was a businessman. So when I met him, he was very, very business savvy already. Like he was already very well clued with business. And I had left school when I was 14 and 9 months to go packing shelves at Woolworths. So that was my only skill that I had, was packing shelves. And I did that because I wanted to make my own money. School didn't fascinate me at all. And I actually had a big dream of owning a business and running an empire and actually making a really huge impact in the world, but I didn't know how to do it. So when I met Joel got straight back into the retail industry world, owning selling IGA stores. So I became a sleeper. And when I had my first son, I just decided to sleep a lot. I decided to sleep when the baby was sleeping, and then Hunter was an angel child. He's used to sleep a lot. So it was my passion. Joel would go to work and build this IGA store, and I would have a day's sleep, and life was grand. So Joel was really good at providing for the family, and I was really good at raising the children. And we went on to have 3 boys. And when my second one came along, we moved house to Greenwell Point. So we were living in Nowra for about 7 years, and then we moved to Greenwell Point for a year. And that's when I got given this baby blanket. So at this stage, Joel was looking after his grandfather. So he was spending a lot of time in his grandfather's care, and he would go away for Monday to Friday a lot of the time. So when he was gone, the sewing machine would come out to play, and I'd make these wonderful snuggly blankets, and my eBay store went off. It went crazy, and I was making more blankets than I could handle. And I didn't ask anyone for business skills. I'm sure if I'd have asked Joel back then, can you help me to build a business, he would have been like, yes. So this thriving business on eBay, I got like 5-star, and I got so much really cool reviews. And it was going to go global. It was called Sunshine Buddies International. So it was an international brand that I had. And I made elephants and I made these little horses and I had the names on the horse's backside and really, really cute products with such raving fans. So it became way too much. Like my second child, I didn't teach him to read because I was so focused on the blankets. And Joel would come home and there'd be fabric everywhere. It would be crazy. So I decided to put the blankets down because I felt like I wasn't present with my family. So I ended up working in IGA, doing little things here and there. And really the next time when I decided, because when I did the blankets, it was about other mums and it was about myself making an income. And then 3 years ago when Joel saw this Juice Plus business, we signed up. Like Joel, we actually wanted the products cheaper, so we were taken on the products and we're going through a health transition because we're changing, our lifestyle was changing from business to more health goals. So we put our health goals aside for a long time because we're so focused on building the retail businesses. And Joel actually used to run track and field, like hurdles. He was a really good runner. Really, that's another story. But anyway, we wanted our health back, so we ended up really falling in love with the Juice Plus company. And so when that came along, I realised, Joel actually brought me a ticket to go to Melbourne to go to a conference. And this is when it all changed for me. I saw a lady called Lauren Lahav walking onto stage. I didn't know who she was at this stage. All I saw was this blonde-haired lady with these legs. And I saw these legs and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to be on stage with legs like that. And then she started to speak and she mesmerised the whole room. And then I was like, I'd really like to be on stage and mesmerise the whole room. And then she kept talking and she talked about how her children were so proud of her, globe-trotting and encouraging women to earn their own income and know their worth and feel fabulous. Not they weren't her words, but they were my words. And I just sat there and I was like, I need to master this business because this is how I'm going to make an impact in the world. So from there, I went on and I got the GoPro book by Eric Worre. And at this stage, I was working in IGA Monday to Friday. So I would listen to Eric Worre 5 days a week to and from work. And I must have had a very empty tank because I listened to that book so long before the penny dropped. And I was like, I get it. So it was really worthwhile taking the time out to listen to that repetitively. So then, my mission now that I know it's possible is really to inspire people to make their own income, and women especially who are older, because I know that when I was younger, my focus was fully on my children and my family, and I wasn't ready to be at that spot where I went and I invested time in myself. So I really like to help women when they're ready at that stage. I don't want to seem like coaxing the younger ones when they're not when they've just got their babies and they're like all baby smitten. Like I just like the older women.
Makes a lot of sense. And so you got a lot to juggle there, apart from Joel. You've got the 3 boys and obviously the dog. But one thing that I notice about you, Vic, is you are always so calm. I don't think I've ever seen you in a fluster or a agitated state at all. Tell us how you manage your energy and how you can keep all those, Tamara Hunter calls them the mummy jugglers. How do you keep all the balls in the air?
Yeah, so sometimes I don't juggle all the balls, to be completely honest. I find if I don't fill myself up, I'm not a very patient person. So Joel often says this: you can't. People want the best of you, not what's left of you. So I find that when I go, like I went to the gym today, and after the gym session, I was so inspired. And when I eat nourishing foods, I find I'm really inspired as well. So I really like to fill my own cup up first, and that way you're so much more patient with the children.
Yeah, totally agree. You got to get those endorphins flowing, and both of those things are, that's the way. We've got to exercise, move our body, eat well, and then we do have the energy to deal with whatever comes at us today. And that's such a great way to mentor other mums, because sometimes we can't manage everything that's thrown at us. But if we have some steps, some tactics, even if it's just getting out of the house and going for a walk, putting the baby in the pram and going for a walk rather than sitting there having that stressful time. And the work that you're doing now, what are you finding the most rewarding about being in the Juice Plus environment, in the mesh team, and in Juice Plus, in the greater Juice Plus organisation?
Yeah, so as much as my passion is to help women to earn an income, I absolutely love one of the stories that my friend sent me. So she was on antidepressant for many, many years, and when she started to take Juice Plus, she messaged me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, Vicki, for the first time in 7 years, I've been off antidepressants." So to see people's lives change from fruit and veggies in a capsule is an incredible experience. And something I heard Christine say is that the bonuses that we get are there to make our hearts sing. So it's to be spent on us with like massages or pedicures or whatever we want it to be spent on. And part of my quality time is hanging out with Joel. So to be able to go to the mountains with Joel and have special time like that and have soup at the mountains is really rewarding in this business, and we get to show others how to do that as well.
Oh, yep, totally agree. And it's so rewarding to see other people come through the ranks, and it really is watching them come through and even finding out why they're here in the first place. That's one of my favourite things to do with people. They come into my life, even if it's not just Juice Plus. I always like to find out people that I meet, what's your passion? What are you here for? What are you here to do? And, when you've got that piece of gold, when you know what makes somebody tick, and, you've got, create that accountability buddy for them to help them along the path. And you're really amazing at that. I've watched, the work that you've been doing with Joel over these years in helping people and nurturing people along and keeping them accountable. And you told me earlier that what was it? There was the excuses. Yeah, the excuse came up, and this is something that comes up on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we can make excuses not to go to the gym, and we can make excuses to, not eat well. What's your commentary on that? How do you get around that?
Yeah, well, excuses don't pay the mortgage, and they don't get you abs, and they don't keep you flexible. So, I have an accountability partner who's actually Joel. So it's really handy if you can find a friend, even if they're just a text message away. So I've got some friends who are a text message away. So if I'm questioning something, I'll just send them a question. And it's a decision. It's not a choice that you just decide. So it comes down to feeling as well. And Tony Robbins talks about being in a beautiful state. So one of the things that inspires me is actually star jumps. Like, I love doing star jumps. It's great for the lymphatic system. Sorry, I might have got off track then. I forgot the question.
No, just talking about excuses come up and managing those.
Yeah. I was the excuse queen, to be completely honest. You've got to get a really, really clear vision of what you want and make that bigger than the excuse. So a lot of the time that can be like a holiday or a financial goal or a health goal, and make that so much bigger so when the excuse comes up, your other goal is in mind and you're like, no, I'll take the other goal instead of the excuse.
So apart from helping other women and helping people with their health and helping other women try and find, some self-worth and values and rediscover themselves, really, what about you? Why are you here? What is your purpose as far as, where do you want to take this? What does this look like in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to you?
I have a long-term vision. So my long-term vision is global. I see this as a way to take me to the nations. I really want to speak life and encouragement to the nations. And I really don't like oppression. I don't like seeing people being oppressed. And the only reason they are oppressed is because they don't know the life that is within them. So they're just acting in a way that they don't realise. So if I can speak life and encouragement to these nations, then oppression will get eliminated. And I see Juice Plus as funding that. So I've seen people come through and they've come through as a quiet person, and then they get a goal and a dream and a vision, and then they make it onto stage. I've watched so many NMDs walk over the stage and they've all got these big dreams and visions. So I know that when, like, I'm working towards it now, getting my finances to this spot where I can go globe-trotting the nations and do it out of my heart and speak life and encouragement to these people, because I don't think anybody wants to be oppressed, and it's more painful for the person doing the oppressing than it is for the person being oppressed. So that's a bit of psychology behind that. But it's totally possible for people to come out of oppression.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a huge, huge, huge goal and a big vision. You're right. You do have a big vision, long-term vision. And what about for the family? What do you see as being for your family, for the boys, for the future, for the legacy? What's it mean to the Lord household? House of the Lords. It's
the Lord's blessing tonight. This is going to take us global. So I want to, and I've talked to the rest of the family members, we all want to move to Greece, and we're doing New York first, New York and Manhattan. So New York, Manhattan, and then Greece, and a bit of Italy and some stuff like that. So we're travel bugs, our family. We love globe trotting, and we've been planning it for a long time. And to get a one-way ticket to Greece and not come back for a good 6 months or 12 months is the plan. And more importantly is what we're leaving. So Hunter's at an age right now where he's really absorbing, he's watching us. So he gets to come on business meetings with us, with Joel, and he's like all the kids. My youngest one is into a turtle. He's like, I'm going to be a business turtle. So they're already being entrepreneurs in their own little way. So I was like, you're the cutest little business turtle, and he's so proud of it. And so they've all got their own gifts, and this helps them to shine that.
Yeah, I agree, and I've watched Hunter particularly over the last couple of years. Because Jude's the same. They'll come along and they'll listen, and they're taking it all in and they're watching. And it is really such an amazing legacy that you can give your family. And I think Lauren, you mentioned Lauren earlier. So when I met Lauren, nearly 9 years ago. She'd only been in the business for a couple of years. So her kids were, so Joss would have been about 11, I think. Maybe he was 12. And, he was at everything. And now he's a QNMD in her business and met his partner through Juice Plus. And their fiance, they're getting married next year. Quinn has, it's enabled Quinn to make some choices around, he didn't really want to be at school and he didn't really have aspirations to go to college, but Lauren's been able to show him a path that's different, that's not mainstream, and he's out there excelling. He actually has one of the largest Instagram accounts. It's absolutely insanely viral. I remember when we were staying with her, Quinn and Jude got on like a house on fire. I remember Jude coming out going, he owns this Instagram account. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's huge. Some sports thing. And then you look at Asha. So again, Asha's been in Juice Plus for, I think, since she was 3, I guess, or 2. And, she has seen the path that her mother's taken. She's seen that, if you go to work and you put your head down and you just keep moving forward all the time, that opportunities will come up for you. And Asha's crazy about makeup. Like, she loves it. And now she's just got the role of the makeup manager, I think, for the school, high school production, the drum production, like things like that. But it's this that we can show our family and show our kids and our grandkids and our nieces and our nephews and our friends' kids, that this is another way, and another, opportunity for everybody. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, Vicki. Absolutely agree. What other messages would you like to talk to us tonight about? I know one other thing you mentioned to me was about, comparison along the journey. Do you want to talk to that?
Sure. So I used to be a very jealous person, and that was like my default mechanism. So whenever I would see, like, there's some people in particular who would just trigger me right through my body, and I'd just be like, I'm so jealous. Jealousy is just a sign that something needs to change. So something had to change, and I definitely got the lesson in that. And my lesson was not to get into the comparison game. So it's ourself. If we hold ourselves to a higher level and do it for ourselves, that's when everything changes. So it's so I used to depend on Joel telling me to go to the gym, do this, when it came to my self-care. Whereas that's not Joel's actual responsibility, it's my responsibility to look after myself. So when I've taken myself to a whole new level, I'm like, I can hold myself accountable, and that's when the true self-worth comes in, and then you stop comparing yourself to other people because you're holding yourself to that level instead of depending on someone else to hold you there.
Agree. Totally agree. Absolutely. And, you're right, the comparison is the thief of joy. It stops us in our tracks, and we spend energy not on our own goals. We give other people that power, and we stop doing what we need to do to get to where we want to be because, we go inside instead of just staying on the track. It's kind of, we just do go round the roundabout too many times and just don't get off. Just stay on our own road. Awesome. Amazing. Does anyone have any questions that they would love to shoot up to Vicki? Let me just, I'm multitasking. I'm looking at the chat. I'm just flicking through. But if you have a question that you would love to ask Vicki, please pop that in here. There's one new message. Oh, your favourite achievement from Cal. Cal would like to know what's your favourite achievement.
My favourite achievement, it was probably a financial goal, actually. I remember when I made my first $200, like, I was doing somersaults. I thought that was like crazy because I was like, if I can make $200, I can make 400. If I can make 400, I can make 800. So that's when I saw the duplication effect, and $200 changed my life. I danced for days.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is the little things. It is the little things, because if we just keep following the system and people that have gone before us stay on the path and be teachable, you can absolutely make $200 and then some, and maybe a little bit more by now. Vicki.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything else that they would love to ask Vicki? Emma is, what has been your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge was actually finding my self-worth, and that's why it's one of my mantras is to help women know their worth. So no one did it to me, it was just myself. I just found myself at the lowest of low, and my self-worth was really, really low. So I love to really help women find their own worth through self-care and acknowledging their own greatness. So that was my biggest challenge, is my own self-worth.
So what would you say to women, or men, anyone out there who are really struggling with that right now? What would be do you have a go-to book or a podcast or a ritual? What is it that you think has helped you move through that?
It was investing in myself. So Joel and I get coaching. So through coaching, I realized that my biggest away from value was embarrassment. So I was really not doing things because I didn't want to get embarrassed. It was a really strong away from value. So when I got to release that, I went on to work on my self-worth, and I did that through coaching and investing in myself. So investing in yourself is either coaching or it's getting amazing books and journaling. Like as women, we like to talk. So the last time I had a meltdown, I actually talked it out, and then I journaled, and then everything was better. So your self-worth comes through journaling. Like journaling is, it's clearing the head. So Keurig actually talks about the competitive mind. So if our mind is competing and going, I'm so unworthy and I can't do this and I can't do that, then your mind is competing with the goal over here of owning 100 Club NMD. So you've got to get rid of the competitive mind. So journaling is a great way to get everything out of your mind so that you can then make space so it's not competing with the thoughts. So it's actually your thoughts in your own mind that are competing. You're not actually competing with anybody else, you're competing with your own thoughts. So to release all of them through exercise, journaling, talking to people, not in a negative way because you don't want to unload all your negative baggage onto somebody, but you want to talk to somebody who's going to give you positive reinforcement. So you don't just want to be like a negative person, you actually want to talk so you get a really good answer. So yeah, really clearing out the mind so it's not competing with all the negative thoughts, so you can make room for all the positive thoughts.
Yep, totally agree. As I say, if you don't think it, ink it. Doesn't matter whether it's a goal or a negative thought. If you can get pen to paper and start putting some words down and yeah, clearing out where is that belief even coming from? Why do I even feel that way? Another great resource you've talked about, correct? The other great resource that Linda talks about too is Byron Katie, and she has a book called The Work. It's also an app, and I absolutely love it. I've used it on myself. I've used it on team, who, once you read it, you might know who it was. And I've used it on my kids. I've used it on my husband. I've used it on my siblings. So it really is just questioning. It's a series of questions. And it just, Byron Katie, and yeah, it's called The Work. If you look at the app, it's The Work. And I think the app costs maybe $6-7 or something. But everything that you need is in there. It's actually a process. It'll ask you questions. Is that true? And then you go into, and it keeps coming up with prompting questions to help you get clear. So I totally agree. You need to kind of take that space. Liz wanted to ask you, when you think of yourself, how do you create joy every day? Because you're always so happy. So apart from journaling, what other rituals do you have, Vicki, that makes you smiley and happy and positive and just so even? You're just the most even person I think I've ever had in my Juice Plus journey. Such an even keel. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, one of the things that I do is I absolutely love nature. So the other day I got given some flowers, and today when I was talking, I was looking at these leaves on these flowers, and it reminded me that this simple leaf is just a leaf, but it is so beautiful. If you actually stop and you look at it, you can put yourself into a trance when you're feeling the leaf. So we're all part of nature and we're all magnificent. I don't, every time I walk outside to take the kids to school, one of the things that I do, because our front yard is different to our backyard, I don't know if that's the same for you, but our front yard has a tree hedge all the way down the street. And I remember I actually was in a bad mood. Okay, so I do get in a bad mood. I'm not always so happy. So I was in a bad mood. And I'm walking out the front and just shuffling all the kids out the front door. And then I see this tree and it was blowing ever so gently and these leaves are just falling. And I remember standing there mesmerised and I'm like, wow. And just to take that time out to look at nature, which is our greatest trainer. We've got the 5 senses that we can use to experience nature. So every morning now, no matter how it goes, I personally don't walk out the garage door anymore because we can get to our car out the garage door. I walk out the front door just to see these trees like slightly moving. And I just love nature. It really grounds me.
Love it. Me too. I need to be the ocean, although Joel's found out where my secret hideaway is on Google Maps. Loves getting out in nature and sitting on the rocks and just observing, and that's awesome, Vicki. I feel very much the same. It's definitely when you're in a funk, you get outside and go and hug a tree or get wet or just get outside and breathe. Like that change of space and that change of energy. And absolutely agree. I think that's amazing. Very good. Has anyone else got anything else I would love to hear from Vicki? I'm just going to lost count how many times Joel has blushed. There you go. Blushing this evening, Joel. Amazing. So, of course, the most important question that we have to ask you is if there was a billboard that the whole entire universe could see, Vicki, what's it going to say? What's your message to the world?
It would have to say you are enough and you are complete.
Yeah.
So just have to look around nature and see that. Barbie also asked what my DMO looks like.
I missed that one. Sorry, Barbie.
I have to be completely honest, Barbie. My DMO goes up and down. But when I'm on a good day, it's journaling, the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. and it's sitting outside enjoying nature. I can actually say that my DMO is nature every single morning. I do actually go out and have a look, and yeah, so that would be my number one thing, is going outside each morning.
It's like your meditation bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just getting that clarity and breathing and being out away from screens and four walls, and can totally relate. Amazing. Wow. Is there any final words you would love to give us, Vicki? I think this has been a fantastic call.
Just to keep working on yourself. So the healing is in the doing, and that works for your own personal mindset and for business. So yeah, don't stop.
Amazing. Yeah, it's certainly a life work, isn't it? Just when we get through one thing, something else, the universe will test us with something else, and then we have to get through that, and then the next, but not get through. It's definitely just part of our journey. So love it. Embrace it. Amazing. Wow.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Vicki, for being our guest this evening. Had lots of amazing comments popping up. We think you're wonderful. We're very grateful that you guys came on this journey together and have joined us. And again, congratulations. 18 years is amazing. 3 very gorgeous boys who are very grounded and happy, healthy kids. It's amazing to see. So you're obviously doing something right, so keep doing that. And thank you for being here on our call this evening.